Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, a WWE show has been cancelled.
WWE are very happy with Damian Priest.
NXT Europe is coming.
And we've got, for a change, the nicest story of the year.
Yes, hello, I'm Andrew.
I'm Michael.
And this is the news. Okay, let's go. We're going to talk this one off. Good. We're going to start this one off by talking about this WWE NXT show that's been cancelled next week. Ticket sales are in the mud. Mm-hmm. There's no word on whether or not that was the exact reason. However, if you are capable of doing basic mathematics, you can probably figure out that, it's probably why. Mm-hmm. It's probably why. So WWE are doing this residency almost. They're doing like 4 straight shows at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. They're doing Saturday night's main event. They're doing NXT Battleground. Monday Night Raw, and then they were going to be doing Tuesday's NXT there as well. Yeah, it's pretty ambitious. There's about like 9,500 or thereabouts seats available for these shows with the configuration that they have. Theoretically, they could sell that many tickets. Tickets are going well for Saturday night's main event and Raw, according to WrestleTix. They are nearing sellouts, which is good, obviously. Battleground sitting at about 6,000, which is still good. Yeah. However, when this show was cancelled, they'd only sold 1,700 for NXT TV. WWE put out an email to people who bought tickets for this show yesterday saying, unfortunately, the event organizers had to cancel your event. You don't need to do a thing. We'll issue a refund to the original method of payment used at the time of purchase as soon as funds are received from the event organizer. PW Insider have confirmed now that next week will be just a regular NXT in the Performance Center, which is unlikely to cause any kind of upheaval because it's in the same state. So, it's not like they're going to have to move talent far. It's like a couple of hours east or whatever, maybe an hour. It's probably not going to cause a great deal of upheaval. It just sounds like they bit off a bit more than they can chew with this. Obviously, like Raw and Saturday night's main event are going to draw more than NXT events. Yeah. That Battleground number I think is pretty solid for an NXT show, 6,000 odds. For the TV, the interest just wasn't there. Yeah, look, when you're running 4 shows in a row and the last show is the smallest, like in terms of stature, it's probably Saturday night's main event / Raw, Battleground, NXT TV. One of them's going to suffer. They only sold around 17% of capacity. It's a poor number, but also a bit too ambitious, I think.
Yeah, I guess there's no accounting for taste. The people of Tampa picking Saturday night's main event over NXT, but what you gonna do? No,
hold on. They've picked the best WWE brand over the worst one, and you think that's bad taste?
I would go to Raw. My order, seeing as you're asking, would be Raw, Battleground, NXT TV, then Saturday night's main event. But we are where we are, I guess. People are going to make the most.
This Saturday night's main event card is a bit of a pain in the butt.
It is, actually.
It's not the best.
It is good.
I do like SNME.
I forgot about Ron versus John. Actually, I'd go all for. What was it? No, I think you're right. Over ambitious is the crack here, isn't it? They ran the Fontainebleau for NXT in Vegas. It was the last WWE event of that slate of things in the Bright Light City. But I think that did well, which maybe inspired them to give this another go. And on this occasion, it's not failed. We were talking before we came in to record this. WWE ticket prices are high. And ultimately, the people that can afford to go are still being forced to choose, even if they can afford to go to some of them. So this is realistically like how this was always going to go if fans were indeed forced to choose. If you're going to pick, like, all joking aside, if you were going to pick, like, Saturday night's main event has become this, like, well-regarded TV special. Raw is Raw. The NXT PLEs, for the most part, are generally well-received by the people that like NXT. Yeah. But the TV show was probably a stretch too far on this occasion. I would have well imagined WWE will try this again at some point down the road. There's still,
for sure.
We covered the network head's been really happy with NXT. Attendances to the big events, 6,000 was it something for Battleground this weekend? Yeah. Like they hold steady over the big PLE weekends.
That's a good number,
in general, yeah. So I have no doubt that they'll try this again with the NXT TV. But yeah, this time around, like sometimes you're going to reap what you sow a bit with these prices too.
Yeah, for sure. Like the prices are crazy. Wrestling promotions have been, they've been jacking it up like Hulk Hogan when there's an opportunity to say a slur. Yeah. When it comes to these ticket prices, they're through the roof. I mean, the obviously the most biggest example is always WrestleMania, because it's the biggest show of the year. The get-in price when tickets first went on sale was like $400 to sit in the gods.
Yeah.
Obviously, that did go down because of dynamic pricing, which I hate. It's like, hey, come and get your ass whipped by capitalism, boy.
Real bad.
They were down to about $160, I think. But then you add all the fees, and it still goes up to like 200 plus to sit in the gods, which is absolutely crazy. And over here in the UK, I believe the Forbidden Door get-in price is like £200.
Yeah.
Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but the price
There's like
is...
some cheaper ones, but now if you're looking for a pair of tickets, you're looking at about that per head,
Whereas last year, there were tickets available for All In for 27 quid.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously they're different scaled shows, but yeah, it's crazy. We spoke about this the other day on the news. I think that live events are becoming a luxury item and normal, just regular people, working class people, are being priced out of these things. Concert tickets have gone the same way. It's just wild. It's a reflective of the entertainment industry in general. I will say, as always, I like to encourage people to go exploring. I like people to encourage people to expand their horizons. The counter to this is that there will always be underground counter movements to these things. If ticket prices are going through the roof, there will be an indie show that you can go to, and it'll be like $20 to get in. And hey, who knows? You might go and you might find your new favorite thing. So I always say, look, if you don't like the ticket prices, don't pay them. Go and do something else with your money. It's a better thing. And it looks like the consumers have made their choice with this NXT show and gone, 4 shows in a row? Maybe not.
Bit much, yeah. Maybe they'd have sold a few more tickets if they were advertising Damian Priest. He's getting a lot of praise within WWE at the moment. He, of course, will take on Drew McIntyre at Saturday night's main event in a steel cage match. It seemed to be the payoff to their feud. It's kind of been one of the only WWE programs post WrestleMania that's actually carried on after WrestleMania this year. They've obviously seen enough juice in the fruit. This apparently, according to PW Insider Elite, is down to the praise that Damian has been receiving for the toughness in this program. Quote, there has been a lot of talk lately among WWE talents marvelling at the toughness Damian Priest has shown in recent months, despite being banged up over the course of his feud with, where did they get a story? Drew McIntyre. Yes, they've gone very hard against one another, haven't they? Like, you saw Drew smashing his head in the last sort of like big spot they did when Damian Priest South having him through the table. They were not holding back in their brawl at WrestleMania. The hard-hitting element of this has been, I think, what's carried it over the line. As far as the mid-card program goes. If you remember, the bones of this were not exactly popular amongst the wrestlers themselves. Story came out about Drew McIntyre thinking some of this was beneath him, but maybe they've beaten the respect into one another. Priest kind of like finds himself in this kind of strange post-world title reign where he's clearly not going to be the guy, but maybe like babyface gatekeeper is his role. Money in the Bank, Susan, you would imagine Drew McIntyre's fancying getting back in that conversation. But certainly, I mean, the evidence is there if you've watched the matches, and you can kind of understand where this particular slice of praise is coming from for the two men for what they've been doing to each other.
Yeah, and it seems like every week there's something, like someone's picked up a knock. Someone's had a tooth knock loose. That was Priest. Drew McIntyre got that thing in his eyeball that briefly turned him briefly turned him into a pirate, which was awesome. I don't know why. I love wrestlers wearing eye patches. I think it rocks. It's the coolest thing ever. You always look cool with an eye patch. Hopefully, no permanent damage done, obviously, to people's eyeballs. That's weird. That'd be a weird thing to wish for. I hope your eyeball gets damaged.
Remember Rey Mysterio's eye patch mask until it grew back?
It regenerated. He's in Skyrim. He just took a healing potion. He was good. It was all good.
Stemmies out the knee, into the eye.
That was
just came back.
Fallout was the one where you could like you could cripple a limb. You just take an injection. It's back, baby. Love it.
Take that set.
Take a stim pack. You're good to go, babies.
That's how they walked back the eye for an eye.
Stick it with the eye wash. You're fine. You're all good.
All good.
So like the WrestleMania match rocked. I don't know how they're gonna better it. That was my thing with this feud is like I don't know how they better that because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Why continue it if you can't then have a better match to close it? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I hope they do. Obviously, I like good matches. Shockingly, I like it when the TV I'm watching is good. And look, the feud has been good. It has exceeded my expectations. When the initial report about it being like, what was it? What was the exact phrasing again? Insult or something like that. Like beneath him. Something like that. When that came out, I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad because he's not gonna want to do it. But no, he's a bad mother effer, and he works hard, and so is Damian Priest.
The cage, I think, is interesting because Drew McIntyre online has kind of like told this story of, oh no, bloody Damian Priest keeps coming back, keep having to fight him. He's assumed the CM Punk role when CM Punk was feuding with Drew McIntyre, and this being paid off in the cage, it's like similar to that getting paid off in Hell in a Cell, and maybe Drew McIntyre wants to walk away from this feeling like he's won some sort of bloody series in the same way Punk did over him. It's like a nice potential escalation that kind of gets Drew back in the spot he wants to be in. I'm assuming he wins. I'm assuming he wins in there.
And I hope they do I hope Drew and Damian do with the cage stipulation what Punk and Drew did with the Hell in a Cell. We've seen two very high-profile cage matches in WWE and AEW this year, which have just been interferences and open the door and in comes a guy, and it's just like, man, the stipulation used to mean something. They made Hell in a Cell mean something again last year. If they can do that again with a cage match, I will add an extra star to my rating. How about that? There you go. Because everyone knows that my star ratings are the real coveted ones. Dave, no one cares about Dave anymore, man. It's all about my newsletter.
You wait for the following Friday, which is real something as well. You go head to head with them.
This is it, the Wrestling Bald Observer newsletter drops. Everybody's subscribing, man. That's why I'm rich. This is all nonsense. Remember Ted DiBiase?
The Bald Wrestling Torch.
Yeah, that's it. Pro Wrestling Bald. Baldur's Gate.
We'll get there.
NXT Europe. Much like, again, like Hulk Hogan, when there's an opportunity to say a slur, is coming. PW Insider.
NXT Europe,
PW Insider dropped this.
Twinkies, cockroaches, and Triple H trying to get NXT Europe off the ground. These three things will outlive us all.
They will never die. Global localization. Remember that picture of Triple H with the world map with the NXT logo?
Nobody wants it!
He's like Charlie Day. That was ages and ages ago, but the rumors continue, and according to PW Insider, WWE has been moving internally to launch this thing later in the year, launch it in Europe. They've spent a bunch of time and resources recruiting people. Fighting people, stabbing people,
cutting people,
and my mum. And the opening of NXT Europe is reportedly coming soon. Now, this week there have been various reports from Cultaholic and Fightful that a bunch of European wrestlers have been signed by WWE or are starting soon. Mike DiVecchio is one of them. He's a lot of fun. Check him out in All Japan. He's been, I don't know, just a joy of a wrestler. Big meathead dude, rules. Igor Blanc's another one who's been making waves across Europe and in Japan as well. And Zozaya, another one, younger wrestler. So, a bunch of names have been linked to this thing. We'll just see what comes of it. I mean, the European indie scene over the years has, the Brit Rest kind of fading a bit from prominence has definitely impacted things. I know WXW still run big shows in Germany and stuff like that, and there's lots of other promotions as well. But it's not as prominent as it once was, for sure. NXT Europe. The one thing I'm looking forward to this is people who claim they don't have time to watch more wrestling because other wrestling's for nerds. Somehow adding this to their really busy schedules.
Let's make that an evolve.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Look, I'm never a fan of wrestling shrinking and the fewer people holding more power. I've never been a fan of that. So make of that what you will. I think it's great that certain wrestlers who are signed to this thing are going to be able to make full-time livings and enjoy the benefits of that. That's fantastic, obviously. I think your mileage may vary with NXT Europe, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, we've done this dance before with NXT UK. So let's just briefly do it again now. You are going to bollock us for saying that we don't want wrestlers to get paid when we haven't even said that. But wrestlers are going to get contracts, the full-time ones that they haven't had previously.
Yeah. I've literally just said I want people to get paid.
He's just said that, but we're going to get in trouble for it anyway for daring to criticise the fundamental change that will take place as and when this happens, because we've seen it happen so many times before. WWE gets its claws in, it gets the version of what it wants, and then ultimately it doesn't really pay it the attention and the care that it needs, or it homogenises it. We've seen it over and over again. You know the game by this point. And if you don't, read a couple of extra history books or just check a couple of tweet threads. Just search NXT UK or just search any of the times that WWE have supposedly worked with other organisations. I'm saying this is Dr. Fed. The Fed's my favourite version of the Fed. Some of the other Feds I don't give a toss about. The current working relationship with TNA notwithstanding, which people within TNA seem to be incredibly happy with, and there's all sorts of benefits that seem to have worked on both sides of that divide so far.
TNA are really delighted with how that's gone.
I'm not saying there aren't rule-proving exceptions, and who knows, this could be one. This could be a way they want to rethink and do things differently. And yes, wrestlers getting full-time contracts is terrific. We'll see how this one plays out, but I think we all know an idea of how it'll go.
The thing I look at, right, and this might just, maybe the two situations aren't that comparable, but like when NXT UK launched, the core British scene was a lot stronger and more prominent than the European scene is at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's not to say there aren't good wrestlers in Germany, Denmark, Spain, Belgium. It just means that I don't know, the starting point doesn't seem as stable, and NXT UK wasn't around forever, so we'll see.
We will see. Moving away from all of that and into just something really quite lovely that you highlighted this morning that we want to spotlight on the news because it's just a nice thing to see ultimately. This was via Jason Baker's Twitter, @BaconJason. If you're not aware of who Jason Baker is, he's the master behind the design of the Fiend mask and other similar horror adjacent masks and things you will have seen in film. You can follow him @BaconJason on X to see more of that. But he put a tweet out saying that he'd been given the honour basically of making a Fiend mask from the original Fiend mould for the late great Bray Wyatt's son Nash. It was Nash's birthday party and his birthday wish was to dress up like his dad. Full Fiend outfit, mask, cape, clothes, trousers, the whole deal. Like with all of his friends, like a big garden party and stuff. He's got a big WWE cake. And yeah, like little Nash, like dressed as the Fiend. Yeah. It's like a perfect replication of like the entire Fiend outfit sort of thing. Yeah. The tweet just added, "I dropped everything to make this happen for such an incredible little man. We love you, Nash, and hope you had the best birthday ever." And yeah, he goes on to note that the mask was made from the original mold. Go to Jason's Twitter account to watch the pictures and the videos of it as well. It was a request that came in from Jojo via Nash himself. It's lush. It's like, it's the nicest thing. Like it's when we talk about Bray's passing, there was lots of tragic elements to it, of course, but one was the young family he left behind. And it's just very sweet that there were tributes like this that can be paid, not just obviously from the family, but from the people that, like Jason, the various collaborators that clearly, we hear this all the time, collaborators that loved working with Wyndham Rotunda. That's a constant theme of the people that do work with him. It's luscious, really, really nice. Go and have a look at it. It's one of them kind of those tweets that you see on when you're doing your pull down on the one arm bandit and it's more doom. Like every now and then you get one like that comes through and it's nice to see.
Yeah, that's why we put it in. It's just the kind of thing that warms the soul. Deeply tragic situation, obviously. What was he 36, 37 when he passed away? Yeah, like younger than we are now. And it was deeply horrible because of all the, obviously someone passing at that age is a, under such circumstances, is a tragedy in and of itself, but of course all the people left behind as well, one of which would be his son, who would have been like 3 or 4 or 5 years old at the time. I cannot imagine being that young and having to process your dad not being there anymore. What a hurdle to have to overcome in life. And this just brought a smile to my darkened soul. It's lovely stuff across the board. I think Wyndham Rotunda was a guy who clearly connected very, very deeply with a lot of wrestling fans, but not just wrestling fans, everybody he came into contact with in life. Nothing but praise for the man. Never met him, obviously, myself, but you just need to look at the devotion he inspired and continues to inspire, even though he's not in the physical realm anymore. So yeah, it's a really lovely thing, and shout outs to Jason and everyone who did this for Nash. It's just a beautiful story, and sometimes you just have to, we talk about a lot of silly, stupid wrestling nonsense, and we get animated and we get fired up. We've done it on this video here. Sometimes it's nice to just ground yourself and share things like this.
The real stuff.
Share things like this. So yeah, it's great stuff across the board. But yeah, thanks for joining us on this video this morning. We will be back with another one today. But if you want to see a really cool video, there's one on your screen now. The algorithm thinks you're going to love it. Algorithm. When the crowd say Bo Selecta.
Trust him.
That's the one. See you later.